Welcome to the Do Good Mavericko podcast, episode number 63. Is the future of networking paid communities? When it comes to networking, both for business but also for a bunch of other industries, niches, and categories as well, is paid communities going to be a big part of how networking is being done in the future? Me personally, I definitely think so, because when it comes to social media, they used to call it social networks, but that network effect seems to kind of become a smaller and smaller part of how social media is. I guess there is a reason why social media is not called social networks anymore, because that media part is getting bigger and bigger, it seems. So a lot of that human connection, I think, is going to be kind of harder and harder on social media, especially now after AI as well. And a lot of content is AI generated. I think people are just going to be craving more and more of that real life human connection, either in person or on video calls or chatting and texting, commenting. So yeah, if the thing is, if people are not getting that need met on social media, I think paid communities can be a brilliant option in many cases. And also, paid communities, if done right, it can be done. It can be a lot higher quality networking than just Facebook groups, because Facebook groups, although it used to be amazing in some ways, at the same time it was also a shit show, even at its peak. And these days, Facebook groups is in many ways broken. It's absolutely not what it used to be like 5, 10 years ago. So yeah, I really think it is a massive gap in the marketplace when it comes to both networking and communities. So yeah, and if you think about solving problems and providing value to people, finding solutions, if you look at it that way, can you do that with a paid community? Absolutely. Let's say if you yeah, let's just take one example. Let's say you built a paid community only for laundromat business owners that had at least 5 different laundromat locations. That was the requirement in order to get to become a member. If you did that, maybe you would also have a limitation on how many laundromat owners in certain areas could become a member. But let's say you just took that as the criteria, that they need to have at least 5 laundromat locations, and the community was only for those owners. Do you think it would be worth it for laundromat owners to be members of a community like that? Probably, because they could learn a bunch of things from each other: how to run the business, how to manage it, how to get more customers, a lot of things. So just a few pieces of advice from other members, and they would be already have paid for 1 year's membership of the community. It would already be worth the membership. And imagine the level of networking and masterminding, conversations, stuff like that in a community like that. And this is just one example. You can take this in almost any niche category industry. So yeah, it's not just about courses. There's a lot more to it when it comes to paid communities. And when it comes to the future of networking, one of the reasons I think paid communities is going to be a large and massive piece when it comes to how networking is being done in the future is because I think the quality in many of these paid communities is going to be amazing, especially when it comes to especially when it comes to the type of paid communities where there is a certain requirement to become a member. Then it would kind of, yeah, it would almost, as long as you got the engagement good enough, and there also was a requirement to become a member, the quality of that networking would be likely be amazing. Yeah. Another thing, amongst a lot of other things, but you might also be free from many of the algorithms when it comes to networking that way. A lot of people are networking on social media and live events, but with paid communities, you can kind of bypass a lot of those algorithms, especially if you choose the right platform to host your paid community on, and you have the right setup with things like email notifications, text messages, and also the right way to run it. Where you, for example, you have hot seat sessions, live Zoom meetings, networking calls, maybe also different posts, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm reminded of the old saying amongst the business people that your network is your net worth, or that your network massively influences your net worth. There's a lot of truth to it, and if that's such a big saying amongst the business people, that your network massively impacts and influences your net worth, it's kind of self-evident to me that in many of those cases, a paid community would basically be almost like a steal. You know, it would be a bargain, even if it was priced pretty high. It would still be worth it in a lot of cases. So yeah, you know, that's a big thing when it comes to a lot of live events, industry live events, and what's it called? Those kind of what's it called? Industry. You have live events, but also the kind of events where a lot of businesses are meeting up in similar in similar industries. I forgot what the exact name is, but there are events like that, and for a lot of these events, the main selling point is actually not the event itself, not the event and the speaker itself. It's more like, imagine all the amazing people you are going to meet at this event, people that you can talk to in the hallways, in the waiting rooms, in the after party dinners, stuff like that. Basically, people they can connect with and network with, and do different kind of deals, or get insights, tips, advice, stuff like that. But if you have a paid community with a lot of either carefully selected or with a requirement to join, people can get a lot of those high quality conversations on a weekly basis. They don't have to wait for 1 or 2 times per year to go to a live event to meet some of the people they want to meet. And I just don't see how it's ever going to be the same with a Facebook group. That's one of the objections that a lot of people have. Yeah, but you can just have a Facebook group. No, you can't, because at least it does not seem to be that it's working. Although in theory you can just put up a Facebook group, but the problem is that in Facebook groups it tends to be a lot of members that are not really that carefully selected. It tends to be a lot of fluff and stuff. And the big thing these days is that even if you have a Facebook group where there are requirements for people to join, where only a certain type or level of business people or whatever are able to join, the problem is that Facebook is kind of broken They're not sending out notifications and stuff properly for Facebook groups. A lot of Facebook groups that used to be really good when it came to networking and also promoting things and selling things. These days, they are pretty much dormant or almost dead groups, so to speak. Almost nothing is happening, and almost no people are reached when posted in them. So that's a big problem with Facebook groups. You're kind of at the mercy of whatever Facebook decides to do with their algorithm. And sometimes Facebook just decides to shut down a Facebook group without any good reason. That's another risk as well. But yeah, imagine imagine the value you can provide to members of paid communities. Imagine the networking they can do, the problems they can solve, the deals they can make, the masterminding, the joint ventures, the strategic alliances, the hot seats, the connections, the conversations. Imagine the value of a good community and how many thousands of different businesses, industries, niches, categories out there where you can make or build such a community. It's pretty mind-boggling to think about. And when it comes to paid communities, this is still a growing trend. I saw something online, or it was, I think it was, yeah, ChatGPT that mentioned it. I have not checked the source properly yet, but it said that it was a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, compound annual growth rate of about 14% when it comes to paid communities. But actually, I think it might be higher because I suspect that they maybe are talking about many of the software platforms. Or if we include the communities and the growth of the community of the paid communities as well, I suspect it might be even higher. So yeah, it's definitely a growing trend. And like the traders or investors are saying, the trend is your friend, or a rising tide lifts all boats. Maybe you should get in the boat of building your own paid community. You know, the last few weeks, I've been doing a bunch of interviews of success stories of people that have built paid communities and making at least $10,000 in profit per month. This is not just theories or online marketers talking about theoretic stuff. This is about real life success stories. And a bunch of these people are making a lot more than $10,000 in profit per month, but that's the minimum in order to be included amongst these success stories. I'm going to interview at least 30 such success stories, but at the time of this recording, I've just interviewed a few of them, but it has been mind-boggling. Really exciting stuff. One guy was working less than 4 hours per week and making about 18,000 euros in profit per month. An older lady is making somewhere between 6 to 7 figures in profit per month, and she started her paid community about 2 years ago. So yeah, exciting stuff. Anyway, if you want to learn from those real life success stories, as well as connect with a bunch of other people that are also building their own paid community, you should check out communitycashcows.com. You can also find it on terrific30.com, but yeah, communitycashcows.com. All right, take care. God bless.